Hello gamers and welcome back. I'm Rob, of course, or Warshak if you want to call me by my in-game name. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the most important mean streets of Gadgetzan cards rotating into wild mode. We're less than, I want to say, 3 weeks away from the new set coming out when I'm making this video. So super stoked to see what new cards, the new rotation, new meta. Should be super exciting. Again, sorry for the delay on this video. I had to head to New York for the weekend, and also with school starting back up, spring break ended, so the teachers, or the professors I should say, slam us with a huge amount of work to do because we had that week off. So again, sorry for the delay on this video, but without further ado, the first card I want to talk about is Kun. This is again the Druid's Legendary that came out of Mean Streets. Super impactful card in a variety of decks, whether you're playing combo Druid, which he's mostly found in like the most. I mean, he was just a great combo Druid card. He was a great big Druid card. He was even found in Jade Druid, sometimes even Token Druid. Just the ability to be able to choose between 10 armor or refresh your mana crystals into making huge combo plays, or to just let you survive turns that you normally wouldn't be able to survive against maybe some more aggressive classes was very important. Me personally, I didn't really play this card in a ton of my decks because everybody else did. And you guys know me, if everybody's playing a card, I tend to kind of try something else just to see how it does. That's just me, but he was still a very impactful card into the meta, and really good card at that. So Kun, you will not be forgotten, and in wild mode, I'm sure he'll continue to see playing combo Druid. It can do crazy amounts of damage in a single turn, and because he's again rotating into wild, that makes no effect. You can just still play him in wild, you just can't play him in standard anymore. And I think the combo Druid is actually much better in wild than it was in standard, just based on how much stuff you had. You had living manas, you've got poisonous seeds. I mean, you just had a crazy amount of utilities to use in the combo Druid in wild rather than standard. So another card I want to talk about, unfortunately, is very sad to see leave, and that's Aya Kun. Because again, Mean Streets brought Jades. I'm only going to really cover this once in the video. All of the Jade cards super impactful to whatever Jade deck you're playing, whether it be Rogue, Shaman, and or most likely Druid is what the main Jade deck has seen play. Aya was part of that, and Aya was such a key factor in a lot of these Jade decks. Not only were able to develop 2 Jades, her body and Battlecry were so very important. So again, we're losing Aya. Oh. As much as you guys did hate the Jade mechanic, it was a pretty cool mechanic at the time, and as soon as it was released, everybody was super stoked for it to come out. And after you see a mechanic for 2 years, eventually you do get tired of it, but it was still at the time a really revolutionary mechanic, and it allowed you to make basically 3 classes and 3 archetypes that didn't exist: Jade Rogue, Jade Shaman, and Jade Druid. So those were really, in my opinion, they were great classes to play, very fun. Each had their own kind of flavor to them, and overall I think they did a pretty good job at making them. Granted, sometimes Jade Golems, reaching 9/9 plus against Jade Druid going infinite felt pretty bad, right? But overall, I think maybe Jade Druid could have been turned down, but Jade Shaman and Jade Rogue were some of the most fun decks that came out of Mean Streets, in my opinion. So Aya, we will miss you. Have fun in wild. Yeah. All right, so I'm pretty sure that's it for the Druid. The next one we're actually going to talk about is the Huntard, and the Huntard, we're actually going to lose out on Alley Cat. How did I misspell Alley Cat? I'm just going to type in cat. There you go. Alley Cat's a card we're missing out. Currently, Hunter doesn't really play Alley Cat in its current build, but it did at the very start, whether you're playing Secret Hunter, Face Hunter, Mid-Range Hunter, and even, no, I'm missing out on one Hunter. Secret, Face, Mid-Range. Yeah, I got all 3. It actually ran Alley Cat. Unfortunately, as I'm making this video, the most popular Hunter is the No Minion Hunter, and that only runs Barnes and Rage. That recently popped up within the past 2 weeks following HTC. I can't remember the exact place that they were at, but it was like less than 3 weeks ago that it popped up really big on ladder due to its high win rate and pretty high consistency of being able to rip Barnes and just do an astronomical amount of damage prior to turn 8. So Alley Cat, again, a heavy hitter, I think, in my opinion. I mean, it's a 1-mana 2/2, and they're beasts. I mean, you just can't really get any better at the early game hunter as that. Unfortunately, that's pretty much the only hunter card that really strikes home. I mean, the rest of these are kind of like, we're missing Harambe, but, you know, that's okay. No one even played that card anyway. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we got Cabal Lackey. This is a huge card in the Tempo Mage. Basically, every Tempo Mage plays 1 or 2 of these at the moment. The ability to play a 1-mana 2/1 that allows you to play your secret in your hand for free is huge. Currently, mages are playing, you know, explosive runes, counter spell. Not explosive sheep. I don't know why I want to say explosive sheep, but the one that turns your Potion of Polymorph, boom, that's the one. And Ice Block. We've had a few drinks in the cup. Tonight's class was absolutely awful. Like, tonight, I know you guys don't care about this, but tonight's class was so brutal. So we went, me and my buddies in class, we went to Chili's and had a bunch of drinks, and I came back here and I was like, it's a pretty good time to record a video talking about the most popular cards leaving, so let's just, you know, drink a little bit more and wrap up this video that I said I was gonna do. So with that, Cabal Lackey, huge card. I'm not sure how Tempo Mage is going to recover from this. It's actually losing quite a bit of cards, and I'm pretty sure that's why they gave him explosive runes in the new Mage legendary weapon, is to make up for these cards that are rotating out, because as we know, every rotation hits, those particular deck lose a bunch of cards, and they have to replace those cards with, you know, something. Tempo Mage has been a thing since GVG, and they made Flame Waker, so it'll be interesting to see what they replace with. Maybe Tempo Mage turns into more of like a mid-range / control mage. In my hopes, I hope that is the case, because I particularly really dislike Tempo Mage. I think it's just to throw up on the board, do as much face damage as you can, but, you know, a lot of people like its current build, and yeah, so I just hope it goes more of a mid-range / control, and not just go all face and then just replenish. Instead of divine favoring, you're just playing the legendary mage weapon and just drawing a fucking retarded amount of cards. I mean, just you draw 4 cards a turn. I mean, that's just stupid. But, you know, who's getting mad? Not me, right? Cabal Crystal Runner, we got the 6-mana 5/5, cost 2 less for each secret you played. Again, one of those key cards that is found in it currently Tempo / Secret Mage. Being able to tempo this guy out for basically 2 to 0 mana. Whenever in this game, you know, you at least play 2 secrets. He's 2 mana. It's a 5/5. It hits you in the face once, if not twice. And if it does that, that's, you know, a third of your health. It's pretty hefty chunks. And Tempo Mage loves to get you down low so they can double fireball you. Fireball, Frostbolt, Pyroblast, Firelands Portal, you name it. They start throwing it at your face. So again, another key card in currently the Tempo Mage builds that we're losing out on. With losing out on the 2 minions that I've stated prior, or this minion and the minion I've stated prior, currently Tempo Mage really only has spells. You know, it's a deck that has basically 2/3 spells, 1/3 minions, and the minions combo with the spells and the secrets to be able to synergize well. So once they start losing the 1/3 minion side, which they're losing the runner and the lackey, they're gonna have to replace them with some other minions. I'm not sure what they have in store. Haven't seen all the new cards released yet, but I'm assuming they're gonna release, you know, something that synergizes, one with secrets or one with spells. It's gonna be one or the other, or Tempo Mage is gonna disappear. It's just one of those things. Oh my God, Kazakis! Our boy Kazakis is going downtown. He's going to the wild mode. So Kazakis was super found in Priest for a long time. Kazakis Priest, Raza Priest, Highlander Priest, whatever you want to call it. That was the name of the deck. This was a key card. When they nerfed Raza, Highlander Priest just seemingly disappeared. Everybody just stopped playing the deck. As soon as it wasn't the best fucking deck to play, what do you know? Everybody stops playing it. So Kazakis, towards the end of this rotation, actually didn't see any play whatsoever, but he's still a key card in any one of deck and Priest, Warlock, and or Mage. It's amazing what, like, it just boggles my mind that someone just will just, they play play a deck for 3 months straight, doesn't change. They nerf one card in the deck. Oh, it's not the best deck to possibly play. Gotta change decks. It's like, no, the deck is actually still pretty good. The deck is actually still pretty broken. It's just not as broken, and all the people switch. It's amazing. It's the most pitiful thing ever. But you know who's talking shit? Not your boy. The next one we're going to talk about is Volcanic Potion. I thoroughly enjoy this AoE. I actually play 2 of them in my Control Mage list. I know I shouldn't probably play any of them, but I really like the card. It destroys aggro Paladin. It destroys any aggro deck whatsoever. And a lot of people don't play around it, so that's why I play 2 of them. Solid early game AoE, and there's just nothing more to say about that. It's just a solid early game AoE, and destroys any aggro deck. I mean, you just can't get any you can't get any better. You can't get any better than that. I'm sure a lot of you guys are gonna thoroughly enjoy this card right here. Getaway Kodo is leaving, which means Paladins can't hydrologist into Getaway Kodo, and then you kill their hydrologist and they get another Getaway Kodo, or they get another hydrologist and then they get another Getaway Kodo and then they get another hydrologist, and it's just a vicious cycle of these fucking little murlocs that piss you the fuck off. So now Getaway Kodo is no more. No more returning their hydrologists to their hand. No more Kodo into Tyrion or Sunkeeper Tarim. No more of this bullshit. We are free of the shackles of Getaway Kodo. Don't have to worry about this card anymore. I'm sure some of you are cheering, and some of you who actually play the Murloc Paladin and thoroughly enjoy the Kodo, you guys are very, very sad, but I'm not sad for you because I don't like the card. Moving to Grimscale Chum, we got the 1 mana 2/1, give a random Murloc in your hand the +1/+1. Really, really, really good Murloc card to play in the early game if you do have the Murloc to synergize with this guy. I mean, most of the Murloc Paladins are currently playing 2 of these guys, you know, at least 1, if not 2. You're basically playing a 1 mana 3/2 because of the buff it gives, stat-wise. It synergizes with the Murlocs. Solid card. Paladins are losing it. Murloc Paladin is taking a small hit from that one. Again, a small hit when from the Getaway Kodo. Not too bad, though. You know, only losing Grimscale Chum and the Getaway Kodo, not the biggest hits for Paladin, but we've talked about a few of the other hits that the dude Paladin's taken. They're taking some pretty big one. The next one that Paladin's taking a hit is Wicker Flame Burn Bristle. Again, Control Paladin isn't one of the most popular Paladins out right now, so again, not really that big of a deal. But again, a pretty good card in the Control Paladin list. A good card to rip off Stonehill Defender. And if you play Stonehill Defender, you're able to play the Wicker Flame into Steed into attack. You know, all of a sudden you're able to heal for a decent amount. You got a pretty good taunt. It has Divine Shield. So overall, good card, worthy of mentioning in the list of cards that are, again, rotating out. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Priest is hitting it hard. Pint-sized potion. Holy mother of God. So currently, Priest really, really, really strives at destroying Warlock in pint-sized potion. And they play the Shadow Priest and they take a Void Daddy. Pint-sized potion going away. Priest is probably not going to be as good as Warlock. Warlock gets a little bit better, you know, depending on the cards that are printed. Maybe there's another class that, you know, does really well against Warlock, but currently Priest is kind of Warlock's enemy, and if Pint-Sized Potion goes away and the Warlock can play the Void Daddies without the Void Daddies getting taken like we've seen in so many of our Control Priest videos, ooh, Warlock might just run around and be able to destroy just about everything. So it'll be interesting to see how things go. But Pint-Sized Potion is a huge hit for Priest. It may not seem like it, but it really is. It's a big card to lose. The next one to talk about is the Potion of Madness. Again, this is a pretty huge card for Priest. Priest is losing a lot of cards here. Priest is losing a lot of good cards in the mean streets. And I'm going to be really interested in how they make this up. I mean, they've lost Operative, they lost Pint-Size, they've lost Potion of Madness, Dragonfire, Greater Healing Potion. I mean, Priest is just, I mean, oh gosh, Priest is going to be in an interesting place, depending again on what they print. But Potion of Madness, as we know, great against aggressive base decks. You can Pint-Sized Potion, Potion of Madness. You can use the new, I can't, you know, recall the name of the guy off the top of my head right now. It's the 3 mana 2/4, you know, swap the attack of the minion. It's like, I think the Disciple of Alkalite or something like that, some Alkalite. And you can Potion of Madness, then start trading. Crazy card, good card. It's going to be sad to see Potion of Madness live because of just the amount of plays you can make. Greater Healing Potion, like we mentioned before, being able to heal for 12 for 4 mana, close to half your life for 4 mana, depending on the situation. You can Shadow Visions into an additional Greater Healing Potion to be able to heal for 24, which is almost, again, full life. Really, really solid card against, most aggressive base classes, or if you're just low in the matchup and you're just looking to heal for that tidbit more to get you out of the range of being, comboable. Does a really, really solid job. For some reason, I think I messed up. No. Talon. There you go. We're losing out on the Talon Priest. Oh, again, one of those Hearthstone-esque cards. It's a 3 mana, 3/4 stats are there, and then Battlecry, give a friendly minion +3 health is insane. Originally, they had made this guy into, I can't recall the name of it, but it was Colt something. And it was, again, a 3 mana, 3/4 Death Rattle, give a minion +3 health. And that wasn't as good because it has Death Rattle and you can play around it. But because the Talon Priest had the Battlecry, it immediately gives the +3 health, which is much, much better than a Death Rattle. So this guy, insane. Getting Northshire Cleric on 2, Radiant Elemental, or Northshire Cleric on 1, Radiant Elemental on 2, Talon Priest on 3, and then Twilight Drake on 4 into Operative on 5 was some of the most devastating curve a priest can do against you. It was just insane. There's not a lot of decks that can deal with that. So the fact that this guy's leaving is kind of ruining their turn 3 curve to be able to generate basically almost another minion with the +3 health. I mean, +3 health is just an astronomical amount of health in the early game. So it's cool that they're losing Talon Priest. I didn't like this card at all. I mean, it's a good card, but I didn't like that it exists because it's just so fucking annoying. I mean, +3 health in the early game. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's just stupid amounts of health. For some reason I wrote the Stone Stealer, but I'm pretty sure that's the name. It's Cabal Song Stealer. Yeah, your boy can't even write down cards that aren't even in a video. Anyway, 5 mana, 5/5 Battlecry Science of Mania. This is found in the Big Spell Priest. It was found in the Highlander Priest. Mainly a 1 of, sometimes a 2 of, depending on how important silence is in the meta. Probably not as popular now, again, because the Big Spell Priest is kind of left the meta. The Highlander Priest doesn't even fucking exist anymore because people are like, oh, it's not tier 1, can't play it, deck doesn't exist. But anyway, card worth mentioning again. Not a lot of classes have like self-identity silences. I mean, if we look at Druid, they have like, what is it, like Druid? They nerfed the card to Oblivion. I can't even. Actually, I'm going to go to it because I need it. Actually, I'm not going to go to it. I'm going to remember it towards the end of the video and I'm going to get really mad. It's like a 4 mana 2/4 silencer deal 2. Keeper of the Grove. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. There's not a lot of classes that have their like own built-in silence, so they have to use stuff like Spellbreaker or Ironbeak Owl. So the fact that, Priest had a 5 mana 5/5 silence is really, really good. And that's why this card is worth mentioning. Much, much better than the previous cards. The next card worth mentioning is Raza. Bada bing, bada boom. Even with this guy getting nerfed, I think the ability of this card is still super good. We were playing Highlander. I actually really didn't play any Highlander Priest when it was tier 1, and then after it got nerfed, then I started playing Highlander Priest because that's the time to play it when it's not popular. And the deck is still really good. I can't even imagine the deck when the hero power was 0. I mean, that's just fucking bonkers. So with it being 1 and it's still good in my eyes, I mean, definitely a card worth noting. It's still going to be seen and played in Wild, and definitely a very solid card to come out of Mean Streets. Very, 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 very solid. Oh boy, Draconoid Operative. We kind of mentioned, touched on this guy a little bit earlier. This is one of the cards that literally held Dragon Priest or any sort of control Dragon Priest together. Whether you're pulling Draconoid Operative off the Netherspite Historian or you're just playing Draconoid Operative, the ability to discover a card from your opponent's deck and then select that based on whatever situation you think you need that particular card in is huge. I mean, this card has so much value. Not only is it a 5 mana 5/6, the stats are crazy good. It's a dragon and its ability. This was probably one of the best cards ever printed in Hearthstone. I mean, this is just crazy. This card is so fucking good. It literally makes the deck. So I don't even know where Control Priest is going to be after this without this card. And I know you'd be like, Rob, it's really not that great. You're on the super cush if you don't think this card is that great. Because this card's fucking insane. This card is literally like super gluing the entire class together. And without this, without the super glue, nothing's getting held together. You know what I'm saying? And we got the Dragonfire Potion, which is, I mentioned it earlier. It's one of the best AoEs Priest has at the moment besides Psychic Scream. Psychic Scream, the problem is it doesn't actually kill the minions, it returns them to your opponent's deck. So if you're playing the control battle and it's going to head to fatigue, you actually gave your opponent cards back in their deck and they're able to draw them, which means you're always going to lose in fatigue at that point unless you run Benedictus, and then at that point you're mainly running like a meme control deck, which of course I have played and it's pretty fun. But besides that, Dragonfire Potion, very good card, very similar to kind of like Light Bomb was before Dragon. After, you know, we had Light Bomb in Priest and it was like, holy shit, what's gonna happen after Light Bomb goes away? It's the, you know, the 6-mana destroy all minions, super good. And then they printed Dragonfire Potion. I was like, all right, Dragon Priest, let's fucking go. And now Dragon Priest is gone and the Dragonfire Potion's gone. So I was like, Psychic Scream, let's go Psychic Scream. And then I'm sure we'll see another Priest AoE around the 5 to 7 mana mark that does something, you know. It's gonna deal. We are guaranteed going to see another Priest spell between 5 to 7 mana that does some form of AoE. Guaranteed. I mean, it's just they've done it time and time again. 100% gonna see some shit like that. We are losing, or I should say, Shaman is losing Devolve. Pretty fucking big deal. This is one of the main early game kind of like slowdown cards Shaman has. Lightning Storm sucks ass. Volcanoes turn 5. Maelstrom Portal is leaving. Devolve is leaving. And Devolve is one of those cards if your opponent has like a smaller minion and they buff it and you devolve it. It's like, say your opponent's a rogue and they made like a 10/10 Van Cleef. And you devolve the Van Cleef. It goes into a 2-mana spell. So you spent 2 mana to stop their huge combo. Or if they have like a bunch of, you know, Silverhand recruits that got buffed. The Silverhand recruits, you know, they just go to a 0 mana like a Wisp or something. So Devolve is like a really, really, really solid card. At first, it actually was kind of laughed at. It was like, oh, I'm not gonna play Devolve. You know, who the fuck cares? Reducing my opponent's minions by 1, that's not good enough. 2 mana, And then I actually saw play, and people are like, holy shit, this card's amazing. So, definitely a big card for Shaman to lose. Not sure, again, it's hard to say where the next expansion is leading us because we have not only new cards, but we also have a rotation where we're losing 3 old sets. So it's really impossible to say, you know, where the meta is going to be and if Devolve would be good in that meta. But it's still a good card as of now. And again, impossible to say where we're going to go. But, you know, it's always sad to see really solid defensive cards leave. It's just one of those things. And again, we've already kind of talked about the Jade stuff when we talked about Aya, but just keep in mind Jade Claws, Jade Lightning, Jade Chieftain, they're all leaving with Mean Streets. All the Jade mechanic cards with Jade Claws standing out the most. Jade Lightning and Jade Claws are huge Shaman cards right now. They were played in, you know, the Aggro Shaman, they were played in Pokemon Shaman or Evolve Shaman, they were played in Control Shaman, they're just played. Any Shaman deck contained these cards, and they're just because they were that good. So with that leaving, it's gonna hurt real bad. Moving on to Warrior Sleep at the Fishes. And I know you guys can be like, Rob, you're going over so many fucking cards. That's just how impactful Mean Streets was. Mean Streets had so many great staple cards and a variety of different decks that it's kind of hard not. I mean, these cards, they're just Sleep of the Fishes, Control Warrior, boom, it has to be in there. N'Zoth Warrior has to be in there. Fatigue Warrior has to be in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are just key cards to such important, or no, I wouldn't say important decks, but key cards to certain decks that you just cannot not go over them. I mean, Sleep of the Fishes is just such a great card against aggro, against mid-range. You know, you can combo 2 of them together against other control decks. I mean, it's just craziness. LA Armor Smith, for some reason, didn't pop up, so I'm just going to type in Armor. This was definitely a 2 of in the Quest Warrior. Quest Warrior really isn't a thing right now, but it's still a really good warrior card at that. You know, a 5 mana 2/7 every time it deals damage, gain that much armor. So whether you're buffing it or even just letting it sit, you know, people trade into it 3 times, kills 2 minions, gains 6 armors, only costs 5 mana. Feels good, man. Definitely worth noting. Ally Armor Smith is going to be missed, especially if Control Warrior comes back. Ally Armor Smith is going to be one of those cards I wish I could put in there. Dirty Rat, huge card to leave us. This was like the combo. This was the, if you're playing against some form of combo deck, this was like the combo stopper. You know, if you're playing against Quest Mage, you'd line up your Dirty Rats really well. If you're playing against maybe like a Control Lock, you'd try to hit, you know, Nizoth or something like that. If you're playing against Priest, you try to hit Dragonoid Operatives, Twilight Drakes, Another Spy Historians. If you're playing against, Rogue, you hit Auctioneers, stuff like that. So Dirty Rat, huge card to leave us. Hopefully they add in some form of other tech card that allows you to kind of mess with your opponent's hand if they are playing some form of slow control OTK or combo deck, because being able to disrupt or play around that kind of mechanic is really important. You know what I mean? If you can't mess with your opponent's hand, they can kind of just sit there all game, do what they want, not have to worry about anything. That's why Gnome Feratsu is pretty nice. You know, discards the top card of your opponent's deck. You hit something really nice, depending on when you play it, could greatly impact the remainder of the game. So cards like that I thoroughly enjoy. Auction Master, for some reason I spelled that wrong. Let's type in Beard. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm gonna type in Master. There we go. Actually, probably because I don't even have the card. There it is. It's a card I never even played with. Auction Master Beardo. This is OTK Paladin. This is literally what makes the deck be able to OTK your opponent in one turn. If not, it requires you to have... Yeah, this is literally the card that requires you to OTK your opponent. Without this card, it doesn't work. So if we lose this, we lose OTK Paladin. Again, you can still play the deck in Wild, but in Standard, the OTK Paladin will no longer exist without this particular card. Because of that, I thought it was worth mentioning. And there's quite a few people who made top 100 Legend with OTK Paladin, like Asmo. So it was definitely worth mentioning. Mistress. Am I missing something here? Mistress. There we go. Mistress of Mixtures. Fantastic card. 1 mana, 2/2, Death Rattle, restore 4 health each hero. Whether this was being played in the Troll Lock or the Jade Rogue, which we were playing in it sometimes. I've seen people play it in their Jade Druid. I'm trying to think of one more deck that I've seen this card in. I swear I've seen this card in another deck. It's not ringing to me at the top, but Control Lock seems to be the winner chicken dinner on the most played Mistress of Mixtures. So without this card, Warlock, you know, loses out on the 4 heal in the early game body. Not the biggest deal because of how much they have, but still a sizable, you know, both of these are 8 mana or 8 health, and 8 health is close to a third of your life. So, you know, and it's an early game body, and it, you know, combos well with cards like Defile and stuff like that. So this is a pretty big hit to the Control Locks and any other deck that revolves around, you know, being able to throw out an early game body and heal for 4, but, you know, not the end of the world for Control Lock at all. And the last card that we're actually going to go over, I think I DE'd him, is Patches. Due to the fact that we got full dust refund for this guy, I might as well DE him. And if I ended up needing him again, I can recraft him for the same amount I disenchanted him for. We didn't actually see, this guy was I would have to say, the most popular legendary card you'd ever see on ladder. After his nerf, I actually have seen him like once, maybe in the past month. So I just figured I'd mention them because, you know, PTSD, you know. And then there's actually a couple other cards I wanted to mention because they're getting Hall of Famed, is Ice Block. This is a pretty big deal. I'm under Old Gods right here, so let's go under Standard Cards and go under Ice Block. But we're losing out on Ice Block, and by Hall of Faming means that they're moving the basic or classic set Wild. They said they'd never do this, so because they're doing this, you're going to get full dust refund on, again, Ice Block. So when this card rotates, you're going to be able to get full dust refund for it. And I think this is a good pick for the Hall of Fame cards because this card, in my opinion, I think each class should have a legendary spell from the basic set. And I think Ice Block deserves to be a legendary spell, meaning that you only can generate one of them throughout the entire game. Once you have one of these in your deck, if you Primordial Glyph, you cannot get a legendary spell if that legendary spell is already in your deck. So like for Shaman, the legendary spell would be Bloodlust. For Warlock, it could be like Twisting Nether or something like that. You know, Rogue, it could be fucking, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Each class gets its own legendary spell from the basic set. You can have one of them, and that's all of you. That's it. You can't have any more of that game. Period. No random generation effects give you that because you can only have one. And I think Ice Block, if you could just play one of them, period, end of story, not broken, good, as they deserve to be, but not broken. But when you can, you know, play 2 Ice Blocks, Primordial Glyph into Ice Blocks, Tome into Ice Blocks, you know, Babbling Book into Ice Blocks, fuck that shit. So glad to see this card go. It's a little too broken for my taste, and yeah. Cold Light, this was an interesting card for them to get rid of the Battle Cry. Each player draws 2 cards. This was super weird. Out of all the cards that could have possibly Hall of Famed, Cold Light Oracle was probably not on the list of cards that I would have guessed, due to the fact that it's just like not, it's seen in some decks but not a ton, and I'm really thinking that it has to do with the Battle Cry, because they're wanting to print more Battle Cry combo cards, or I don't know, man. It's just a weird card for them to get rid of. It really is. Like, I just don't know. Like, they've got to have something in the next couple sets that, with this card in standard mode, would be absolutely insane. In wild mode, they've proven to not give a shit about wild mode. I mean, obviously, they just throw every good fucking crazy-ass card in the game into wild mode and let everybody circle jerk and win on turn 3, 4, or 5 because their field is filled up with, like, 48 damage. We've seen it in our wild videos. It's just stupid what you can do in wild. But in standard mode, something's gonna be, you know. So I'm sure we'll see in the next couple months, or in the next couple sets, why Cold Light was moved to Hall of Fame. They wouldn't just do it for no reason. So again, I'm not too sure about this guy. I really enjoy the guy in standard. You know, you can play him in your control deck, you can play him in your aggro deck, you can play him in your mid-range deck to disrupt other combo decks or control decks to make them overdraw. There's a lot of uses for them. It's good in fatigue. So we'll have to see where it leads. But again, very weird pick from Blizzard. Not really sure what they're going for it. Not going to pretend like I know. But interesting, needless to say. So with that, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or you'd just like to add on to what I've said, feel free to in the comments section below. That's what it's there for. And I'd love to see what you guys have to say. And with that, have a great night. Thanks for watching. As always, I'm Robert Warshak. Happy whatever the hell day it is.